Hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I'm your host, Sparring Officer Jonathan Taylor, and welcome to my new setup, one where I stand and I can show you that I do in fact have legs. This is not really what I wanted to do this week, or what I was really planning to anytime soon, but uh, extraordinary circumstances have kind of pulled my hand, so now I kind of have to do this. What exactly these extraordinary circumstances are, you can see in my Twitter, link in the description below, as well as links to my other social media. Because of that, I'm not gonna do a full or more in-depth video. Instead, I'm just gonna go through the uh, writing queue hashtag on Twitter and answer some of the questions. Because reasons. 20 minutes on the clock, and let's get started. Okay, first one. Is your MC religious? And if so, what is their religion? Fantasy/fictional religions welcome. If not, is there any particular reason why they aren't? Well, to answer, Martha is agnostic. She was more fervent in her beliefs when she was younger, but her skepticism grew with age. Elizabeth also kind of counts as agnostic, though she leans a bit more heavily towards straight up atheism because she finds that religion does have some religion she grew up in has some logical gaps that she is not pleased with. Juliana, however, is religious. She follows the same religion she grew up with, namely a form of hero worship that is prevalent in her native country. And Victor is a straight up atheist. He's straight up disappointed by his religion. Okay, another one. Is there an afterlife in your story? If so, what is it like? Well, I haven't really thought about it yet, but the official stance for now is that there isn't one. People just die. Okay, next one. I have a headache, it's all I can think about, so I'm posing a writing question about that. Have you ever given a character a headache? No, but but a while ago, more than a year ago, while training in a bit of kickboxing, I actually hurt my ribs, and because of that, I actually gave Elizabeth a bit of damage on her ribs too. So yeah. Okay, another question. What is your favorite mythical creature? I'm gonna go the obvious route and say dragons. No explanation, just dragons. What major settlements exist in your writing in progress? Which ones are the safest? Do they have areas considered high class or dangerous? Are people from certain areas known for a certain stereotype? Well, this story does take place in an equivalent of 1930s Europe, so you have cities, you have large-scale industrialization, and oftentimes these major cities are also criminal hotbeds, or at least certain areas of these cities are criminal hotbeds. But otherwise, the stereotypes are less defined by the city and more by the region or by the country the people are from. Okay. Whole series of romantic questions. I'm not going into that right now. If your protagonists were a form of music, what would they be? Good one. Okay, this is actually really good. Martha would be classic rock and roll. Elizabeth would be prog rock. Um, Juliana would be dance pop, and Victor would be stoner rock. Yeah, that's my answer to that. Mm-hmm. Are there any sports, games, or activities unique to your world and story? Are they all important to your MC? Well, they aren't really important to the MC per se, or not vastly important. but there are some things that are unique to the setting. For example, because of the way the magic system works, sculpture is a performance art, not just a display art. Because you can create forms of with various materials at a very quick speed and a very fast rate, and you can also change it in various unique ways. Otherwise, there are I have a lot of the characters are board game enthusiasts, and I actually describe a few board games and how they play out over the course of the novel. But I don't really go too much into what board games are like or whether or not there are any competitions with them. They just are. Favorite ship dynamics. I don't know. Just I guess friends to lovers. Yeah, I'm pretty basic. So that's my favorite ship dynamic. Mm-hmm. When your chapters are told through different POVs, okay, this applies to me. Do you change POV based on a pattern or whoever will tell that part of the story best? This depends. I mostly try to alternate patterns so that not patterns, POVs, so that you don't get so that you have a certain sequence of people telling the from whose perspective the story is told. But I do kind of break away from that every once in a while. Is there a pattern to that? Yes and no, not quite. Mm-hmm. Okay, this one. Thinking about first loves. Are the main character and love interest in your writing in progress each other's first loves? I have one major romantic subplot, and with neither of them, is the and I can say that about neither of them. So yeah, that's what I can say about that. Mm-hmm. Do you have any characters that you're afraid to write? I am I would be somewhat embarrassed because this supposed writer that doesn't use the right your. But anyway, to actually answer that, I will say I'll say the bully characters. I partly because I'm kind of apprehensive about actually getting into the mind of a bully and what that would mean. But on the other hand, there's also the question of I might tend to make them seem too relatable, and I kind of want to avoid that. You know, they're supposed to be a bully. They're supposed to be someone you hate, not someone you connect to directly. Okay, next one. What was your MC's childhood like? Are they from a rich, poor, or middle class family? Both Martha and Elizabeth are from a middle class family. Juliana started poor, but her family became middle class as she transitioned into in her teenage years. Though she still has some particular hang-ups and habits that are tied to her earliest childhood. And Victor is straight up an orphan, so yeah, those are the backgrounds of my characters. Mm-hmm. Who's more evil, your villain or their sidekick? Well, I don't really have a sidekick. I have a few villains. The level at which they are evil is something I want to leave up to the readers. Mm-hmm. What constitutes a poetry collection? Not connected to my writing, but still, I kind of want to see uh, how I can answer this. I would say I wouldn't say just say put a bunch of poems in a book because well anyone can do that. It's not really much of a feat. I would say a poetry collection is more dependent on associations about theme or technique. So if you can do that, then you have a better chance of actually making a good poetry collection. What next? How is your MC or other characters perceived by society? Well, some of the aspects are a bit spoilerish, so I'm not going to go too much into that. But overall, I will say that they are all, in a sense, young professionals. They are all officer cadets going to a university where they train to become officers. So they are on their way to becoming highly respected, and that's basically true for everyone, or for everyone who is a student. Are they in agreement with this perception? And most of them are, I would say, or half of them are. Do they feel cheated or mislabeled? I think everyone does to some extent. But like I said, half of them agree with this label. The other half is more iffy about it. How they deal with that, you'll have to find out, and not just in the debut novel, but also in the sequels. Mm-hmm. We've seen them as tools of war, symbols of status, and even sporting equipment. What weapons are in general use in your story or the world of it? Well, the general weapons of swords, staffs, and morning stars, and even firearms still exist in this world, but they aren't really used by people who have magical ability. So yeah, that pretty much they're pretty much exclusively for those without magical abilities, and because a lot of the aristocracy was made up by people who have magic abilities. These are also not using weapons is seen as a status symbol. That being said, amulets and special staffs and other charms can be used to enhance magical ability, and they can be seen as status symbols. However, they are also seen as somehow as cheating. As, oh, what, you need those in order to be proficient? Really? Get out of here. Okay. Mm-hmm. The ocean has always been this mysterious, ominous source of inspiration for me. What sort of places have captivated and inspired you and your stories? Well, a lot of my story is actually inspired by my time as a student abroad, and how that affected the way I see the world and how I relate to other people, both people I meet as a student and both people I've known before that. That is something that does come up in the story, and that plays a role in uh, in how it's supposed to go. Otherwise, there's a boot camp section, because of course there is one, and that is somewhat based on my experiences at, at various uh, at various camps and at an internship. I'll say this much. Okay, something interesting. Sorry for the dead air. Just happens. Tell me about your hero's bestie. How do they know each other? What draws your Samwise to the MC? What did they reveal about your hero that nothing slash no one else does? Well, Martha and Elizabeth are best friends. They've known each other ever since they were in elementary school, and I actually have the story of how they became close in the novel somewhere. So you can look forward to that. Juliana herself has her former school mentor as her close friend, because yeah, her school had kind of a mentorship program similar to the senpai kohai system that is prevalent in Japanese schools. So she's very well befriended with him. As for Victor, his best friend was actually his caretaker from the orphanage. Because yeah, that's how he rolls. Mm-hmm. What are the best rare associations slash organizations to join? No fucking clue. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Anybody wants to be an accountability buddy? Well, Rachel, I might just reach out to you about that. Until then, let's see what else we've got. I already answered this. What might be good names for geology or geography books that could be mistaken for smut? Not exactly sure, but something about cleavage and something about tight spaces. Like, if you can work that in, you can, you should be able to pull something off. Another question about villains. I'm not going into that. Let's talk climate. What climate does your current WIP, Writing in Progress, take place in? Well, most of the writing in progress takes place in an area with dry continental climate. That being said, there is still snowfall in the novel, but it is pretty. But the section with snowfall, how much of it takes place actually in winter? Most of it, most of it kind of thing. But so yeah, that's I don't know what else to say about it. It's basically dry. It's basically dry continental with cold winters. Winters that are cold enough for snow. I think the lowest will be around 0 to below 5 Fahrenheit, or about minus 20 Celsius. Okay. What else? Have any of you ever dreamed about any of your characters? No, I haven't reached that point yet. What is your favorite thing you have ever written? That's hard to say, but I'll say from my current novel, I think my favorite thing is a healing scene that takes place towards the end of the story. More on that when it becomes available. I'm not sure if I answered this one in writing, but so I'll answer to this one on camera. Let's talk about role models. Who/what does your MC MCs aspire to be? Have your MCs role models ever failed them? Well, Martha very much looks up to her father, who is a war veteran. She admires that he had the strength and the conviction to be able to stand up for his beliefs. And she is somewhat disappointed over the fact that he didn't allow her to practice chronomancy or time magic. But otherwise, she is very happy with how her childhood with him went along. Elizabeth, it's pretty safe to say she had. I think it's pretty safe to say she had Marco as a role model, or as someone who was able to push her to the point where she really could become the best person she could be. For Juliana, her role model was her pyromancy professor. He actually also encouraged her to go to the military university and become an officer. As for Victor, yeah, his role model was his caretaker, because reasons. Okay, 1 minute 30 to go. I think we have time for one or two more questions. Have you deliberately written a terrible fight? I've written a few fights, but I hope they're not terrible. Okay. How often do you describe your characters? How much detail do you tend to explain? Not that much. I like to give readers enough for them to figure out the basics, but otherwise I want them to picture whoever it is they want to see. I don't go into much else. Okay. Oh, this one is good for the last one. Are there any secret societies, political or religious, who could serve either as the antagonist or as a tool of your antagonist? Uh, Actually, yes. It's not though it's kind of an open secret, mainly a terrorist organization, and they are and they are actually even mentioned in the blurb. They don't just do terrorism shit though, so that's why they are that's why they are also something of a society, so not just a terrorist cell. But otherwise, yeah, they are basically there as an opposing force for the characters. And I got 5 seconds left. I'll just just wait out the clock. Thank you. And that's been it. I hope you enjoyed this more different presentation. And if you have anything you'd like to add, the comment section is wide open. If you want to see when the next video comes out, spoiler alert, it's going to be next week. But if you want to see when exactly next week, then go ahead and subscribe. Maybe also ring the bell. And if you enjoyed this video, then leave a like. Until next time, I'm Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.